Hi guys, we're going to do a little discussion about Peachtree. Peachtree is accounting software. It's a software that we use here at Lehman. Many businesses use QuickBooks, but Peachtree has its advantages, which we'll discuss at another time. What I want to do is just go through some of the highlights of Peachtree because we're going to start using it to build our companies. So let's take a look at Peachtree and its properties. This is the opening screen. Once you get your Peachtree open, looking at a particular company, this is what you'll see. And you can see across the top that this is an old company that I set up. You see my name, company name, etc. So you'll see the name of the company across the top. Now, there's a way to access many of the features in Peachtree through these icons, but I think it's more explanatory to go to the menu item, so that's what I'll do. After you become familiar with it, you can get into these things any way you like. So let's look at the menu items one by one. We click on File. This is to open a company. And what we're going to use here is new company. When we set up our companies, we will use new company. We'll also use backup. We'll also use restore. And talk more about those in a little bit. Okay, so that's the file menu. Edit menu, we hardly use it all. List, again, it's something that we don't use very often, but it's there. When we have to use it, we'll talk about it. Maintain. The maintain command is very important because maintain is how we go about adding particular things. So if we want to add customers, we go to maintain customers, and customers are of course the people who buy our products, and this screen opens up and we can add a new customer. So let's see if we have any in here. There is a customer in there that was set up in this previous example. Okay, so this is how we add customers. We'll go through the detail of that when we start doing this in person. But we add customers there. We go to maintain vendors. Vendors are the people that we buy products from. We click on vendors. Just the same as we did with customers, you can add vendors here. Okay, those are the people we buy our products from. And then the other item that we use, we don't do payroll. The other item that we use to maintain is the chart of accounts. Well, chart of accounts, of course, that's the listing of every account that's in our system. Click on maintain chart of accounts and open this window. This is every account that happens to be in this particular system. When we set up our companies, you will have a chart of accounts for your company. Okay, depends on the type of company that you're setting up, but this maintain screen is to add an account, to delete an account, to make any kind of changes that you need to make to an account. Okay, maintain chart of accounts, very important. And that's really everything that we care about in the maintain screen. Oh, I forgot. Maintain inventory items. Maintain inventory items is where we set inventory items up, and we will be doing that because in the main project that we have, we do sell shoes, and we sell these inventory items, these shoes, and they get set up in this screen. So maintain inventory items, also very important. The other items in here are non-inventory items, are nothing that we are concerned about at the moment. Then we go to tasks, and tasks, as the name sounds, this is how we make entries. We make entries here. We do analyses. We do any number of things, but these are all tasks. So we don't use sales orders, but when we make a sale, not sales order, but when we make a sale, sales invoicing, we click on this, and this window opens up, and this is where we make sales. This is all customer driven. We'd open this window and put one of the customers in that we set up, We put invoice numbers in, we put the date, we put the products that we're selling, etc. Right? So let's see what we have here in terms of products. This is the one product that we have that this particular company has, and these happen to be shoes. So if we were selling shoes, we would go to this item and open this up, and this would be the sale of shoes. The description would come up, the amounts, and so on. All of this would be set up when we set up the inventory in that maintain inventory screen. Right? So this is sales. If we go to the task for receipts, this is where we receive money after we've sold something. So we receive money. So there would be, if we have an open invoice, it would be down here. And again, this is customer driven. So if there's a customer that owes us money, open the screen up, open this window up, pull the customer up, and the invoice that's open for that particular customer would show up down here, and then we would apply the payment to that. Okay, that's receipts. The tasks, no finance charge, this. We don't worry about purchase orders. This is task purchases, receive inventory. This is very important screen. So this is where we buy things. We show you where we sell things, where we have to buy them in order to sell them. So again, this is vendor driven. We pull our vendor up, and from that particular vendor we might buy particular items, subscription, GL account, and so on. All right, this is how we buy products. Okay. And as far as the rest of the tasks go, this is how we pay our bills. After we buy something, then we have to pay them. So this is bills, pay bills. That's our last task. And invoices that are open, again, we pull the vendor up, a vendor who has open invoices that we owe them. They will show up down here, and we will pay those invoices. Okay, so basically this is writing a check. You can see check number, date, etc. We write a check to pay the bill that we owe. Okay, so that's our task for payments. And that's basically it for tasks. Okay, the analysis screen we don't use. Options we don't use. Well, there's one part of options that we do use, which we'll talk about at a later date. Reports and forms, extremely important, because this is the power of this kind of database accounting system, because it's a real-time setup. It's real time, and as you put entries in, it updates everything, updates all of our financial information. So we get updated balance sheet, income statement, etc. So let's look at our financial statements. We can scroll down and go to financial statements. And we want to look at, let's say we want to look at a balance sheet. Double click on our balance sheet. We say OK, and there's our balance sheet at this particular time. We happen to be January 31st, 2015. That's the period that we're in. That's where this was set up. January 31st, 2015. So these are all the transactions that were made for this this particular period. And if we double click on these numbers, we can always double click and see the detail of transactions. So let's see what is the detail in this checking account. Double click on that, and you can see this is what's happened. We have received $2,000 in first day funding. Another $2 million in first day funding, $1 million in first day funding. This is a loan. This is a sale of stock, and then we purchased $200,000 in men's shoes. We purchased $400,000 in men's shoes, and so on. So this is the detail to that $2,500,000 cash balance that we have. All right, so we can do that with anything that is on these financial statements. So if we close this and we look at, let's say we want to see our income statement, double click on the income statement. For the current period, you want to always unclick where it says show zero amounts, because you don't want to see the items that are zero, because it just takes up too much space. And click OK, and here's our income statement. So we've made $2 million sale of shoes, $840,000 those shoes cost us. We have a bottom line of $1,260,000. Right? Our income statement. Again, this is, we can click on the detail of this sale. Let's look at that sale. There's a $100,000 sale here and a $2 million sale there, $2,100,000. So you can see the detail of that sale. But the beautiful part is that as we make transactions, our financial statements are updated. Okay. Now, that's basically it for our reporting. And one of the things that you're going to do a lot of is you're going to export these financial statements into Excel. So let me show you how to do that. So if we go back and look at, let's say we go back and look at that balance sheet that we have. We double click on the balance sheet, open that up, and now we see the balance sheet that we had before. So this balance sheet represents the transactions that we've made. So let's say we want to do some manipulating, we want to move some things around, we want to do some stuff. If we export this to Excel, we can export it to Excel. We don't want to do this, whatever that was. If we want to send this to Excel, we can click on this icon up here. It says Excel. And what we want to do is to create a new Microsoft Excel workbook. We click on that, and then we want to use these other options, use freeze panes, send header to page, etc. So we want these default options, but the bottom line is that we're sending this to Excel. We're exporting this to Excel. So if we say OK, and now Excel is starting up. And it's starting up, it's working, it's copying. And there we now have financial statements in Excel. This is our Excel spreadsheet. You see we have the financial statements in Excel. The financial statements that we just did, we have in Excel. And it's on a tab that says balance sheet. Okay, now we want to take this balance sheet and we want to save it to something, save it to someplace that we can find it again. So we save it, and let's say we want to save it to the desktop. Browse. Sometimes it takes a little time to browse, but we browse, and we browse, and we browse, and we browse. It's working. Be patient. Okay, so now we have our window open. Let's go find our desktop. Save it to a desktop. And let's just call it, we never use book 1. You never use that default Excel. So we want to call this, let's say it is Excel, and use today's date, Excel 9/11/2015. Okay, so that's the name of our file. We saved it to that. Click Save. Okay. Now we go back to Peachtree, close this balance sheet. Careful you don't X out of Peachtree. And now we want to do an income statement too. So income statement and balance sheet. So we open up our income statement and we want to click show zero amounts, unclick that, say OK. And now we want to export this also. So we want to have the balance sheet and income statement exported. So again, we click on Excel. But this time around, we don't want to create a new workbook. We already have a workbook. We want to add a new worksheet to a workbook that we already have. So we need to find the workbook that we just set up, which was, if you remember, on the desktop, and it was called Excel 09 11 2015. So it's that's the one we're going to use. You click open, so it's going to find that, and then the rest of the items are fine. So we're going to add a new worksheet to that workbook. We click OK. And now if we go, here's our Excel. Again, now you notice that there's two tabs. There's the balance sheet that we had before, and there is the income statement that we just exported. So we have both of these. And you want to make sure that you save this again, because if you don't save it, you just added something to it. And if you don't save it, it will disappear. So it would be this kind of file that you would send to me. I would ask you for a balance sheet and income statement to be sent to me. So this is what you would use. Okay, now we can close this. We don't need this anymore. We can get out of our financial reports. Close this. Just always be careful that you don't X out of Peachtree. Now I want to show you, when you're done for the day, what you want to do is to back up your file. You have to back it up. This is not like Excel. You can't save it. It has to get backed up. So we go to File and we go to Backup. Okay, go to Backup. And you don't need to be reminded. You want to include the company name in the backup file name, and then you click on Backup. Okay, so again, the default in Peachtree is to save it in the same file as the original data. You want to save it outside of that, so you can save it to your flash drive. You can save it to any number of things. We'll save this to the desktop, and you can see that it has the file name, my name, Morel Anthony Test 9050, and then that's my last four digits of my social security number, and then today's date. So that's our backup file that we've saved to the desktop, and so we're going to click on that, and now it's going to tell us that we need to, how much space that requires. We say OK, and now it's backing it up. Okay, now this file is on the desktop at the moment, and let's see if I can find it somewhere. It's around here somewhere. Here, this is the file that we just saved. You notice that it has no indication at all of Peachtree, and you can click on this till you're blue in the face and it will never open up. This is not a Peachtree file, it's a backup file, Peachtree backup file. So how do we then open it again? Well, we go back, we start up in Peachtree, and we go to Restore. Click on Restore, and now Restore is going to, says where is that file that you want us to restore. So we have to browse for it, and this is on our desktop. We go to the desktop, and we look for our Peachtree file. Scroll down. These are folders. This is our file. Anthony test 9050911. Click open. Then we go to next. We want to set it up into, we want to put it in a new company. We don't want to write over what's already there. We want to put it in a new company. We click on next, and those are defaults. We click next. This is telling us what we're getting ready to do. We click on finish, and our file is now being restored. And there it is. It's restored. Opening. We don't want to create a new company. It's going to open what we just opened up. These are the splash screens that start up with Peachtree. We don't need those. We click OK. Get out of them. Click OK. And now we're back where we started. Now we have that file restored. So again, the way we do this is we have to, when we're finished with the work, we have to back it up. You can back it up to your flash drive, back it up to your email. You don't want to leave it on Lehman's server because it'll be wiped out. If you're doing this at home, you can save it anywhere you like. And then when you come back the next time, you want to resume work on it. You restore, and then you can continue on where you were. So that's a basic overview of Peachtree. I hope this was helpful. Please review it. See you in class.